Hi, so recently I was looking for a free open source point of sale system for restaurants. And what's the best way to find it? In the past, before 2023, we used to go to Google and look it up, but now we go to ChatGPT and we ask the exact same question. And ChatGPT did recommend a couple of solutions, and the one I found to be the best fit is Chromis point of sale system, and that is what we are looking at today. Okay, so let's see. So I want us to just very quickly see the homepage for this device. So this is completely free. It's open source, and yes, you can support the developers, and you should support the developers because they've done a fantastic product. There are many solutions. I'll just give you an idea. I'll just come back to this is a question asked ChatGPT, and you can see the number that are being recommended. I stopped the generation. You can generate the response, and it will probably give us a little bit more, POSs. But okay, if whenever you ask it to regenerate, it changes the order, brings in a couple of things as well. But Chromis was one of the first responses. It was number 2, if you remember what we indicated. So I've tested quite a number of these products. I've actually installed many of these, and the one that I can wholeheartedly recommend is Chromis. Chromis, you'll find it here. This is their homepage. The download link is a little bit hidden, so I've put this in the description. I don't know whether I can find it here, but I've put the link in the description, and that link is going to bring you to this page where you can then download Chromis POS. In fact, this is not the actual page you come to. You'll come to this page, click on this link, and then download it. Now, once you've downloaded it, you have to install it, and what you'll find is something like this. You'll get something like this. This is what you'll get here. It's Chromis Windows .exe. Double click on it, and this is not the installation video. This is just to give you an idea, and but what I'll be looking at is just a very brief sort of run through of this particular system. Then the idea behind this series is to show you the features, show you how to get through it, because being free and open source, then you don't have too many instructions, tutorials on how to use it. I almost let go of the system because I didn't understand it. Initially, it looked very plain. I didn't know how powerful it was until I met, I spoke to a gentleman from Kenya called Matthias Mganga, who is an IT expert living in Kenya, but also part of the social community. There's a big community that discusses Chromis and supports the system. I'm actually quite surprised that fewer people have it. So essentially, note that it's a 64-bit OS, meaning that older machines running older versions of Windows may not work. You then generally need to update, and if you've not updated, well, I don't know what you're waiting for. Really, that's a good thing. Then also it runs on specific versions of Java, and also you require to install what is bundled. So when you click next, I've already installed, so I'm just going to click something here to indicate that I'm installing on a different directory, and just change the name so that it looks so that it's very different. And then we're going to install the supplied JRE. This particular checkbox, make sure this is checked. Otherwise you'll run into a problem. And also I highly recommend that you check this as well, so that you install MariaDB locally, and then just click next. So once that is done, you have to select the different things that you're installing. So you'll see here the different the Chromis administration. This is this, and it's one of the most useful things you need, because Chromis has separated the front end where all the work is going from the back end, where you can do your reports, set up your users, do a couple of things as well. Then also database creator, this is super important. Without it, you really can't run the system. And then migration utility, I haven't learned how to use this yet. but it's essentially would allow me to transfer my database from one place to the other. I have a shortcut method that I'm using, which is to create a backup, also available on this panel. I'll show you that at some point. And then I generate these two databases. So this was much early in the month. I think that was the 4th of May, and this is just today that I created, 21st of May 2023. And I can do that any single time when the data is updated. And then this is the main Chromis application that we'll be using, Chromis system setup and Chromis terminal configuration. You need all these things. So I'll not click next here because I've already installed them, and I'm not trying to reinstall these items, so I'll just cancel that and then get back to the system. When you first try and run Chromis, you double click this, but you're going to get an error because you need a database. It will not read without a database. So what do you then do? The very first thing you're going to do once you've installed your Chromis DB is the Chromis system. Once all these icons have appeared, you'll come and double click on the database creator right here. And initially when you get the database creator, this will be blank most likely, and I think the username will probably have root. Localhost means it's running on your machine. Database name will probably, this comes default if I'm not mistaken, but I recommend if it doesn't come as this, just save it as such, and you can give it a particular name. Then the username, I recommend you keep it at root, and then give it your nice and strong password. Okay. Now this port comes on by default, 3306. But here is a pitfall. You may actually have your version of MySQL already installed, or some databases already installed in your system that are using this port. If this port is already occupied, Chromis will not work well. You run into so many issues, you may not even install it successfully. So first and foremost, uninstall MySQL or any database that uses this particular port. Install Chromis as I've shown you, and once you've installed it, then you can reinstall the other applications but give them different ports. I know I run MySQL on my machine plus the workbench, and we're using this port at 306, and so